Did you know that recruiters spend an average of just 6 seconds scanning a resume? That's right, 6 seconds. In that tiny amount of time, they decide if you're worth an interview or not. If your resume doesn't grab their attention immediately, you might be tossed aside without a second thought. Up to 75% of resumes never even get seen by a human. They're filtered out by software before a recruiter even lays eyes on them. Now, let's get real. Are you guilty of any of these common resume mistakes? Maybe your resume looks too generic, or you're using outdated buzzwords that turn employers off. Or maybe you've hidden a career gap that's actually not a big deal. These are just a few of the mistakes many job seekers make, and they could be holding you back from landing your next job. In this article, we'll break down the 6 resume mistakes you absolutely must avoid. We'll give you real examples, share unique tips, and show you how to make your resume stand out, so you can finally get noticed by employers. Stick around, because we're about to transform your resume from made a must-have. Chapter 1, the dreaded one-size-fits-all resume. Have you ever used the same resume for every job? If so, you're not alone. Many job seekers believe a one-size-fits-all resume will save time and effort. However, this could be holding you back. According to a study by JobVite, 65% of recruiters said that a generic resume is one of the top reasons they reject candidates. Why? Because employers want to see how you fit specifically with their role, not just any job. The key is tailoring your resume for each position. Start by carefully reading the job description. Pick out keywords, required skills, and responsibilities. Then, adjust your resume to highlight your experience and skills that match those needs. This doesn't mean lying or exaggerating, but it does mean showcasing the most relevant details. For example, if you're applying for a marketing role, emphasize your experience with digital marketing tools like Google Analytics or social media campaigns. If you're applying for a sales position, focus on your achievements in meeting sales targets or managing customer relationships. Recruiters appreciate when candidates take the time to match their skills to the job they're applying for. A unique strategy here is to create a master resume. This is a comprehensive version of your resume with all your skills and experiences. From there, you can select and tailor relevant sections for each job application. It saves you time and ensures that your resume is always up to date. Chapter 2, Buzzword Overload. The silent killer buzzwords are everywhere in resumes. They seem harmless, but using too many can actually work against you. Phrases like hardworking, team player, and innovative are so common that they don't add much value. A survey by Career Builder found that 58% of hiring managers dislike buzzwords on resumes. Why? Because they don't tell the recruiter anything specific about your abilities. Think about it, anyone can write innovative or self-motivated on their resume, but what does that actually mean? Instead of relying on buzzwords, focus on providing tangible evidence of your skills. Use action verbs like led, designed, or increased to demonstrate what you've accomplished. For instance, instead of writing "I am a team player," try something more specific, like, collaborated with a cross-functional team to increase project efficiency by 25%. This not only shows that you're a team player, but it also quantifies your impact. Numbers speak louder than vague terms. Furthermore, remember that your resume isn't just about what you've done, it's about how well you did it. Using real examples can make a huge difference. Let's say you boosted website traffic for a company. Don't just say, managed website traffic. Say something like, increased organic website traffic by 40% through targeted SEO strategies and content optimization. It's clear, specific, and much more impressive. Chapter 3, the dramatic career gap that isn't actually a problem. A lot of job seekers panic when they see a gap in their employment history. But a career gap doesn't automatically mean you're unqualified or unreliable. In fact, research from LinkedIn shows that nearly 40% of professionals have taken a career break at some point, whether for personal reasons, family care, or education. And guess what? Employers understand this. The problem isn't the gap, it's how you explain it. Hiding gaps on your resume is a huge mistake. Employers will spot it, and it may raise questions about your transparency. Instead, be upfront and honest about the gap. The key is to frame it in a positive light. If you took time off to raise a family, pursue further education, or travel the world, mention it. You can say, took a 12-month sabbatical to travel and develop new skills, including advanced project management training. If you were freelancing or consulting during the break, highlight that experience. Even if you weren't working in a traditional job, you were still gaining valuable experience that counts. You can also emphasize what you learned during the gap. For example, if you spent time volunteering or taking care of a loved one, focus on how those experiences helped you grow as a person or a professional. A career gap can be a conversation starter that leads to a stronger connection with the employer. Finally, if you have multiple gaps in your work history, use a functional resume format instead of a chronological one. This way, you can focus on your skills and accomplishments, rather than making the gaps the focal point of your resume. It's about making the most of what you've done, even when it wasn't in a full-time role. Make sure to subscribe for more tips on how to fix common resume mistakes and boost your chances of landing that dream job. Chapter 4, the reverse chronological trap. When it fails you, the reverse chronological format is the most commonly used resume structure. But it doesn't always work for everyone. According to a study by the National Resume Writers Association, about 60% of recruiters prefer a chronological layout. But here's the problem. If you've had multiple jobs in a short period, or if you're switching industries, this format can highlight instability or lack of experience in a certain field. The reverse chronological format focuses on your work history from most recent to oldest. While this works great for candidates with a stable career path, it can be a disadvantage if you're transitioning into a new field or have gaps in your employment. For example, if you're trying to move from teaching to marketing, your years of teaching experience, while valuable, won't be directly relevant. This can make hiring managers focus more on your job history than your actual skills. In this case, a functional resume might be a better option. A functional resume focuses on your skills rather than your chronological job history. For example, if you're transitioning to marketing, you can highlight skills like content creation, social media management, and campaign strategy. This format lets you emphasize the strengths you bring to the new role, regardless of when you develop them. Another great option is a hybrid resume, which combines elements of both chronological and functional formats. This structure highlights your skills and accomplishments at the top, followed by a brief work history. It helps you show off what you can do without dwelling too much on when you did it. Choosing the right format depends on your career journey. If you've had a stable, upward trajectory in one field, stick with the reverse chronological format. But if you're changing careers or have a spotty work history, a functional or hybrid resume can help you make the right impression. Chapter 5, the wall of text that turns off employers. Long-winded resumes are a thing of the past. Research from the ladders found that recruiters spend only 6 seconds on average reviewing a resume. That's barely enough time to skim your contact information, let alone read through a page full of text. The truth is, if your resume is too wordy or cluttered, you're losing your reader's attention before they even get to the good stuff. Employers want to see clear, concise information. They don't have time to dig through paragraphs of text. Instead, focus on using bullet points and short, impactful sentences that highlight your achievements. For instance, instead of writing a long paragraph about your job responsibilities, use bullet points to list your key achievements. Here's an example of how to condense your experience. Before, manage the social media accounts for the company, creating content and engaging with followers to increase brand visibility. After, increase social media engagement by 30% through targeted content creation and community management. By trimming down unnecessary words, your resume becomes easier to read and more effective at showcasing your skills. Use action verbs to start each bullet point. Words like developed, led, and designed convey strength and accomplishment, instantly capturing the reader's attention. Another strategy is to focus on your quantifiable achievements. Instead of saying "I improved sales," say "increased sales by 20% within the first quarter." These numbers stand out and make your impact clear. Recruiters appreciate results and real-world examples that demonstrate your capabilities. Remember, a concise, well-structured resume is not only easier to read, but it also shows that you can communicate effectively, a valuable skill in any job. Keeping your resume clean and concise can give you the edge you need to stand out from the competition. Chapter 6, the contact info disaster, why it matters more than you think. Your contact information might seem like the least important part of your resume, but it's actually critical. According to Forbes, over 50% of hiring managers say that they've been unable to reach a candidate because of incorrect or outdated contact information. If your email address or phone number is wrong, you may miss out on an interview altogether. First things first, make sure your contact information is up to date and professional. If your email address is something like cooldude123@gmail.com, it's time to change it. A simple, professional email address like your name, for example, john.doe@gmail.com, goes a long way. Similarly, If you're still using a non-professional phone number or voicemail message, update that as well. One important addition many people overlook is including your LinkedIn profile link. According to JobScan, about 87% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find candidates. Including your LinkedIn link on your resume makes it easier for recruiters to verify your qualifications and learn more about your professional history. Just make sure your LinkedIn profile is polished and up to date before sharing it. In addition to LinkedIn, if you have a personal website or an online portfolio, include that as well. These additional links give employers a way to see more of your work and get a deeper understanding of your skills. This is especially important for creative professionals, like designers or writers, who can showcase their portfolio directly on their resume. Lastly, remember that the contact section is your chance to make a good first impression. Make it easy for employers to reach you. Don't hide your contact information in small fonts or at the bottom of the page. Keep it clear, simple, and prominent. Your resume is your marketing tool, and your contact information is the gateway. By ensuring it's correct and complete, you make it easier for hiring managers to connect with you and take the next step in the hiring process.